What's up y'all, BK back here with another paddle review, and today we are going to venture into SixZero's new paddle, coming in at the budget level, under $100, SixZero releasing a absolutely premium paddle for those beginner and intermediate players with a carbon face, everything that you see from the premium paddles in a under $100 package. So we are today going to be reviewing the SixZero Quartz. Let's do it. First look at this paddle. It comes in a variety of colors. There's a lot of different color options for this paddle. The face, again, very classic to what SixZero does with most of their designs. Only difference is now they've layered it with all the different colors. So if you look at the Quartz logo right there, it's made up of a bunch of different colors. Those are your color options. 6 different color options for this paddle. Beautiful little edge color for all of them. The grip also matches the color. So again, this is a very good looking paddle. That is one of the things that they're really trying to sell with this budget paddle, is that it comes in a variety of options, colorways, so you can kind of pick and choose what you like, stand out on the court and kind of look fancy out there. Now diving right into the specifications of this paddle, the Quartz comes in at a length of 16 inches and a width of 7.9 inches. The handle length is a 5-inch handle with a 4.25-inch grip circumference. The 5 inches, again, a little bit on the shorter side. This is not an elongated paddle. It is geared more towards a beginner intermediate style, so not big on the two-handed backhands. Definitely very control friendly with the handle length. The weight comes in very light at 7.9 ounces stock, so more geared towards those beginner intermediate style of play, and with a swing weight of 108 and a twist weight of 6.4. You can of course add lead tape to get that weight up if you need to. The face material is a T300 raw carbon face with the 15mm core, and you can get this paddle with my discount code BUTTER10 for $80. For under $100, I don't think it gets much better than this. Now the biggest thing with this paddle, because it comes in for beginner and intermediate players, is this paddle has a huge sweet spot. It's a very control friendly paddle. It's got a fantastic feel on the face of the paddle, and with the 15mm core, it's got just enough pop to still do the job. So again, this paddle definitely built for those control situations. Very easy to dink with this paddle. I felt super comfortable hitting dinks. Didn't really lose a lot of touch in this kitchen situation. Very effortless control on this ball. Even if I hit off-center shots, I get really good feel on the ball. Feels very similar hitting right in the middle of the paddle and towards the edges. Definitely good for those beginner and intermediate players looking for a little more forgiveness with their paddle. The swing weight is also super low, so if you do get into those hands battle situations, the paddle allows a lot of maneuverability at the net, so you're not going to lose out on too many battles out here. Because it's such a control friendly paddle, even if I get back into transition, super easy to reset with this paddle, almost effortless resetability. I feel this paddle has fantastic touch and fantastic feel, and with that huge sweet spot, even if I do mishit the ball off center, I'm still going to get a lot of control. So again, very comfortable playing just resets, drops, dinks, all the soft control shots with this paddle. If you are a beginner or intermediate player looking for a premium control paddle for under $100, I don't think it gets much better than this. Because this is a very control-based paddle, it doesn't have a lot of power or pop if you are looking for more of that game style when it comes to drives and counters. The swing weight being so light really allows you to move your hands through the ball really quickly, but if you don't have a high swing speed, it is going to be a little bit more difficult to generate the pace on the ball for some of these drives and some of these counter shots. Again, as I mentioned, the swing weight of this paddle is super low, so when you are in those like quick hand volley situations at the net, very easy to move this paddle around, and you're going to feel your hands be a lot faster. But again, the pop and the power on this paddle isn't insanely high, so if you are playing against players with really poppy, powerful paddles, it is going to be a little harder to win those hands battles. If you're able to control these shots, because of the low swing weight, you're definitely going to get your hand to most balls. Very easy to move this paddle around. Now with the short handle, again, you don't get a lot of leverage because of the 5-inch handle. So if you're looking to generate big swings, you're not going to generate that off of that wrist motion, because the sweet spot of the paddle is fairly close to your hand because of that short handle size. More power paddles, you'll see that elongated handle where that sweet spot gets further away from the hand. That helps you generate more power. So this paddle is not going to do that for you. What it will do is help you really control those drives and control those overheads so you make less errors. So what you lose in terms of power and pop, you gain in consistency. Because the paddle is a very control-friendly paddle, the pop and the power on this paddle was not the focal point when SixZero released this paddle. This is definitely geared more towards a very control-based style. If you are a beginner or intermediate player having a hard time controlling the ball with some of those popular paddles on the market, this is a fantastic paddle for you to start honing in your skills, get better touch, get better resets, get better dinks. This is gonna help you develop your skills much faster than if you had a more poppy paddle like some of those gearboxes and Yolas. This is definitely a fantastic option for all of those players under that 4.0 level that are looking to improve their game. I think this paddle is going to help you do that better than any other paddle on the market at this price point. For under $100, it really doesn't get much better than this. As I said, it does have a 5-inch handle, which is shorter than that standard elongated 5.5 that we see with a lot of other paddles on the market. It is a very good paddle still for hitting two-handed drives, but that's not the focal point of the paddle. So it is a little bit harder to get your second hand on top of your first hand to generate the power that you want in your drives. But what, again, you lose in terms of power, you definitely gain in terms of consistency. So if you're looking for a more consistent game style, definitely go pick up the Quartz. Now this paddle with the shorter handle length, it is a bit difficult to step in and reach for a lot of dinks. You will have to let more balls bounce than you do take out of the air at this kitchen line. But again, I think because it is geared more towards a beginner intermediate style of gameplay, that doesn't concern me too much. This paddle does a fantastic job of being able to control your dinks. If you are a beginner when it comes to dinking, definitely try to let most balls bounce. You don't have to try and be aggressive. Hone in your skills first, figure out your movement, figure out your mechanics, and this paddle is going to help you do exactly that because the short handle allows you to feel the ball closer to your hand, giving you way more consistency with those softer shots. What you lose, again, in terms of that reach, you're going to gain in the control when you let the ball bounce because the paddle does a fantastic job of controlling the shot. It has a fairly high dwell time as well. Very plush feeling on contact with this paddle. I think that's something that I wasn't expecting from this. I was expecting a more stiffer paddle, which I'm not a big fan of, but the plush feeling on this paddle really surprised me and is something that I felt comfortable playing up to 5.5, 6.0 level competition. Again, I'm not gonna blow them away with counters or drives, but this paddle does a really good job. Because of that plushness, I was able to stay in every single point, have really long points, great resets, great defense. I think it does all those things really, really well. So for a budget paddle, it definitely plays very similar to a premium style of paddle. I would almost compare it to the Pro XR Sweet Spot Max. Very similar paddle to that in terms of the specs as well as how it plays on court, with a more plush feeling because the Sweet Spot does have a little more of a stiffer feeling from Pro XR. A couple of things about the Quartz that are really unique to this paddle compared to most other paddles on the market. This paddle comes in with a 15mm core. Most paddles comes in at a 16 or a 14, the 14 being geared more towards power and pop, the 16 being geared more towards the control. SixZero went with a 15mm face. I think it does make a pretty big difference in terms of that balance between power and control. For this shape, I would not expect the paddle to have as much power as it does. Again, I'm not saying it is a power paddle. I'm just saying for the shape and for how this paddle is built, this paddle definitely has more power and more pop than you would expect from a paddle with the specs of the Quartz. Now, the 15mm core, definitely something to check out. I think it's going to be the wave of the future for sure. I think we're also going to see more premium paddles coming out with 15mm versions because it does give you that little bit of difference in terms of that balance from control to power. So something to stay tuned for with other companies. I think we're going to see a lot of mimics from that front. Also with the Quartz, it comes with a T300 raw carbon surface instead of a T700 raw carbon surface. Most premium paddles that are carbon fiber based have that T700 raw carbon, which is that premium carbon fiber. Because the price point is under $100, SixZero went with a T300 carbon fiber, which allowed them to reduce the price to $90. And you can get this paddle with my discount code BUTTER10 for $80. So at the price point, the T300 doesn't make that much of a difference from the T700 performance-wise. What would be interesting to see is the durability of the T300 versus the T700. This is a new paddle. I've only hit with it for a week or two, so I can't speak to the durability of the paddle yet, but again, stay tuned. Maybe a few months from now, I'll give an update on what the T300 feels like compared to a T700 after a couple months of use. All right, y'all, make sure to go check out this SixZero Quartz. Use the code BUZZ10 at SixZeroPickleball.com. Get yourself 10% off. Get this paddle for $80. Unreal performance, and I personally think it is one of the best budget paddles on the market right now. Does a fantastic job with the control style of gameplay that it offers. If you are a player under the 4.0 level, looking to improve your skills and want a paddle that's going to help you hit better drops, better resets, and better dinks, I don't think it gets much better than the SixZero Quartz. So go check it out. It's a fantastic paddle for the price. Definitely well worth the buy. As always, make sure to subscribe below to my channel. Follow me at BK_Pickleball on Instagram, and comment below what other paddles you'd like to see me review. And until next time, I'll see you later.